What's happening, guys? Today is another day down here in Florida, and we are at Treasure Coast Miata. This place is sick. I have a list in my little notepad here of what we need for the Miata to get it running, and pretty much everything except for the ECU and a brake line. But let's go ahead and see what these guys are all about, and hopefully we can work something out. Okay, guys, so out here at Treasure Coast Miata, the guys are very helpful, very thankful for all this. They gave me a deal on everything and helped me out with everything that I needed. The only thing that we couldn't find was the transmission sensor, which is, I guess it's a really hard thing to find, and hopefully the guy next door at Peter's shop can help me out with that. He's got a Miata that he was parting out, and I don't know if he still is, but that's like the only thing I need off of there. The cowl was the only other thing that I needed from here, but they're really expensive, and for the 1.6 they're kind of like non-existent. So I didn't want to spend the super amount of money. This stuff here was good. We'll work something out later on when I get the interior finally all finished up, and I'll come back up here and see what they got for that. But I got a shift boot, like a brand new shift boot pretty much. A shift knob, the actual 1.6 shift knob for it. I got the 2 axle nuts that I needed for the back because, you know, Ruddy took those from me. I got a new shift boot for the inside on the transmission itself, the 3-bolt there. I got the shift boot that goes on the trans tunnel, so now there won't be any smoke or anything coming in at us. I got the coolant sensor that I was missing, so now I'll be able to have that on there. And I got my power steering reservoir because the other one cracked on me down here on the bottom and was leaking on me. So we got all this stuff here. So let's go ahead, go back to the shop, guys, start putting this stuff on there. The only other things that I need is an ECU and just some extra time, man, guys. So I believe I should be able to put the stock ECU back into it for the 1.6 because I do have all the stock stuff on it, like the stock injectors, stock. The only thing that's not stock is a fuel pump, and I don't think you need to have the ECU to actually use that. So let's go ahead, guys, go back down to West Palm, put all this stuff in, and see what we can do for today, guys, to get this stuff looking good and the car pretty much back together. So I'd like to see all this stuff on today. Let's go, guys. Another thing that you got going on up here, guys, is that Treasure Coast Miata is in Hope Sound in Florida. They have all your Miata needs for everything from, like I said, little sensors here to brand new Miata parts like your shift boot that goes on the trans tunnel. Even the 1.6 cowl, like I said, they do have it. It's just brand new and it's out of my price range right now. But like I said, guys, everything they have here, from clean race Miatas right here to all their part out Miatas and everything. They have storage units over there that's full of stuff, and at their actual shop. Just let them know what you guys need. They are very helpful with everything. They ship things out. They have things in town. If you're around here, guys, definitely go check them out. So Treasure Coast Miata, Hope Sound, Florida. Okay, guys, so now we are at the shop. It's actually the next day. I kind of just relaxed last night, which is probably a bad thing to do, but the video is still going up today, guys. So we got all the Treasure Coast Miata parts right here: shift boot, shift knob, axle nuts, coolant temp sensor, the shift nut, the shift boot for the actual transmission, the shift boot for on the trans tunnel, the power steering reservoir. So now we're gonna go ahead and put all this stuff in. I got my back axle nuts that I gotta put on right there. Hopefully that stuff's not too rusty right there. And let's go ahead and start with the shift boot and the shift knob and all the stuff for the transmission right there. So guys, since this is the Turd Bucket V2 and like half the interior is all apart in here, guys, this thing just pulls off. Let's go ahead, move this thing out. Let's check underneath here. Wow, there actually is 4 screws on this thing. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 right there. So I should just be able to just take this old boot bracket off and then just put the new boot bracket on, and it should all bolt right up. I was actually getting kind of worried because I didn't know if there were screws on that for me. So just take this off, you know, just there you go. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this piece right here off. We're gonna get that all off, and we're gonna put the new one on so that it actually sits on there right and it's all nice and tight. The transmission won't leak or anything like that. Goes into gear perfectly. So let's go ahead, take all these 3 10 mils off, and then put the new one on. Okay, guys, so we took it inside for a minute here to change out this little boot thing on the shifter. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cut this off with a knife right there. And I'm gonna lube this up with some PV Blaster and then just slide it down the top right onto it, and it should be able to work. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. So guys, as you saw, that was just a super simple slice this, pull it off, then put the new one on with some PV Blaster, and slides right on. We're also going to do this while we're inside. We're going to change out the shift boot right here. I'm going to wipe it down and get it all clean, and then clean up the center console real quick while we're at it. Okay guys, so shift knob all set with the new boot on it. Center console all set with the new boot on it. Looks good. I like how it fits on there. I clean up the center console really quickly. So now guys, let's go ahead and put the shift knob back on, and then we can go ahead and put the center console with the actual shift boot that goes on the trans tunnel back on. Let's go. Now would you look at that? Would you just look at it? Look at that. It fits so nice. Now, no fluid will spew out of the transmission when we're at high revs, banging gears, down rev locking in the first gear so we can keep drifting. But guys, let's go ahead and put that secondary shift boot on the trans tunnel here, and then we can go ahead and choose our shift knob maybe. Who knows? Maybe I'll get this one so it'll go in the car. But let's go ahead and get this stuff all situated here and then get the center console back on and see how it looks. Second step completed, guys. Once again, looks great. Treasure Coast Miata. But now let's put the center console on, and then we'll put the shift knob on and see how the whole interior is starting to look. So guys, a couple of the other parts that I should have got while I was up at Treasure Coast yesterday was the two door window regulators, so that I could actually be able to crank my windows up and them not be able to flop around like this. So this one actually goes up and it'll stay up. That one does not stay up at all, so it just falls in. And the whole time that this thing's been sitting over here at HP, the window has been down pretty much, and it's just been pouring rain in here. But luckily, I have the floor drains out, so if it gets water in this thing, it just drains right out back onto the ground. So kind of good, kind of not. I mean, the seat's probably going to be ruined and it's going to have a lot of mold on it, but overall though guys, a lot of this water just goes right back outside. And yeah, it is a drift car and it could be something more, but as of right now, we're just trying to get it so that it'll run and it'll drive around. And yeah guys, so let's go ahead. The other thing that I remembered that I took off was the throttle cable. So let's go ahead and get this throttle cable back on, get the axle nuts on, put the power steering reservoir in, and get that coolant temp sensor on. Then we should be able to go around through the engine bay and look and find little things that we should be able to attach. And pretty much guys, it's just gonna need an ECU, and then this thing will be able to run. So I put the stock shift knob back on. I think it looks a lot simpler in here with that on there. The other thing I should have got too was the actual shifter bushing. Like the guy said, it does kind of wobble around when it's in gear, but I'm okay with that. It makes it easier to like rev down and shift lock yourself into like first or second gear. So let's go ahead and do this stuff in the engine bay now. So guys, I've been steady working on the Miata out here, and I got a couple of the things done. I put the ground on the back here for the cam angle sensor. That ground goes to the harness right there. There's a 10mm ground right there that goes to the intake plenum. I put an extra ground that goes all the way over here to the actual coilover, and it grounds underneath the cam angle sensor back there. I've been tidying up some other little things like the actual throttle cable. I got that back on. I don't know if this is the right angle that this is supposed to be at. Maybe I'll turn it so that it has a downward angle so that it just pulls it straight up and down like that. I got some other stuff done. What else did I look at? I got the power steering reservoir on. I have to pull up the clamp on that side. I want to get the power steering reservoir line that goes to the cooler in the front up here, and the line that goes all the way back. When I go up to Treasure Coast again, I'll probably get some pre-bent lines that are already meant for it, like the coolant line that goes underneath the intake plenum down there. It's got a nipple that comes out right there, and it goes to the actual bowl right here. So I got to get that line. I'll get this silicone line. This is just a silicone line that I had laying around, and I had that one. It just touches the belt, so I don't want it to do that. So I'm going to get the pre-bent line, and I'll get the bent lines that go already for the power steering reservoir as well. So that's about all the stuff that I have and the parts that I got. I thought that was kind of all that I needed to get the car running or set so that it could be working, but it's not the case. So what I need to get next is I need to get the lines that I just talked about. I need to get the window regulators, and I want to get just a couple other things. I have to take apart my wiring in the back there and get that all situated, because those wires go to the cam angle sensor and to the actual coil packs themselves. So that stuff needs to be all fixed up. That one wire sticking up at the very top up there, that goes to a coolant sensor underneath. I have to just repin that. Same with the ones that go to the coil packs. So that's some wiring that I have to do. I'm probably going to wire the fans in unison so that when one turns on, they both turn on. I know it's not great for the wiring, but these fans don't draw a lot of amps, so that's how I had it on my old Miata, and I never had a problem with it. So that's just about it, guys. I need more parts now once again, and the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and throw these axle nuts on and tighten those things up. Then the axles will be all set, and we can just keep moving forward, guys. So just stay tuned, and we will have more parts, and this thing will be running hopefully in a couple of weeks. The axle nuts are on, and she is ready to roll around now. So that's about it though, guys. The axle nuts are on. Like I just said, all that other talking stuff. I'm not going to keep boring you guys, but that's about it though, guys. If you guys like the video, don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, comment, share. Don't forget to get notified, hit that notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next one.